The purpose of this session is to give you the understanding exactly as to what the mindset is of your examiner, especially the one who marks the paper, right? And I know this document is publicly available. You have this document, but the way I will explain you, the way I will do the interpretation of this document will be much, much better than a normal student does because of this 16, 17 years of experience teaching this paper. So these are very important understanding, and I want you people to note down key things, whatever your understanding is, because this will help you to better plan your answer, and it will definitely help you to better understand what the mindset of the marker is. Because if you follow the strategy that we will be discussing today, that I will conclude today, then I feel it is not very difficult to grab marks. And you guys always have seen in my answers that I always push a lot to get easy marks, easy numbers, and how to read the question, verbs and objects. Uh, but today we will exactly be looking into the basic details that if you write this, will you get marked for that or not? If you write particular thing, will that be marked or not? Okay. So the document I think is in front of you. I just want to check that whether the right screen has been shared. Yeah. Uh, the document is in front of you, and this document basically is read the marker's mind. My camera is on the other hand, so once I'm writing on this screen, I might not be able to look you, but you just have to keep yourself very much focused on what I'm writing here. Now, one thing that I want to tell you here is, okay, you do one thing. You guys also open your you guys also open this. In fact, you just open a question, Toesbury Rhine Company. Even though this question is on the portal, uh, this is December 2017 paper, Toesbury and Rhine Hospital. I'm sure those who have covered the portal, they must have gone through this question, obviously. But what insight that you will be getting today is definitely different from just solving the question. Now, this article, Read the Marker's Mind, was published before the new exam pattern came. Okay. And when I say new exam pattern, I mean the professional marks were introduced. So before professional marks were introduced, this was already published by the ACCA, which means this article only focuses on technical marks. Okay. It doesn't focuses on professional marks. So we are just understanding today about technical marks, right? So this question, because it is December 2017 question, so it's a 25 mark question, okay? But purely focusing on technical marks. So you just have to keep this in your mind that we will just be discussing today technical marks. Okay, now, one thing that you have to keep from now onwards in your mind, and that is examiner normally awards 1 mark, okay? Normally awards 1 mark for every action we take. The general practice is that we get 1 mark for every action we take. I just want to elaborate into multiple things. Now, what action could be? It could be any single calculation. Okay. Any calculation that we did, right? It could be any unique point that we wrote. Now, this is all my way of explanation to make it simple and clear. Unique point that we write. And I can say 1 mark for whether we are required to explain anything, or we are required to evaluate anything. Okay. For any action, I mean to say the verb, whatever the verb is. So if the verb is to explain, so if you explained 6 points, 7 points in relation to the subject matter, so you get 7 marks, 6 marks, depending on the subject matter and the marks that are allowed there. Okay. Similarly, if you evaluate, so for every unique point, means a different point that you use in your evaluation, you get a single mark for that. Okay. Plus, in your evaluation, in your explanation, any point that adds value to the organization, you get mark for that. So what I want to explain is that whatever the verb is, okay, whatever the verb is, if the verb is to calculate, so for every calculation you get a mark. If a verb is to explain, evaluate, assess, okay, assess. So to answer that particular verb, like to explain, like to evaluate, like to assess, whatever the verb is, you get marks for every unique point that you write in that explanation. Are you getting the point? You get single mark for any point that adds value to the organization. Okay. You get a single mark for any issues identified, like if the question requires you to identify the issues. So any issues that you identified. In short, for any unique concept that you write there that adds value to the organization, any unique point that you write that further explains the issue, you get mark for that. So the general practice is for any unique thing, 1 mark that adds value, that figure out the issue that the organization is facing. But you also have to keep this in your mind that it is not like you have to write 10 points for 10 marks. 10 points for 10 marks. It's not like that. For example, let me tell you one thing. If you are writing about manipulation, okay? So to write about manipulation, if under the heading of manipulation, you came up with the three unique points, three unique points that add value to the organization differently, not covering the same thing again and again, you get 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. You have seen sometimes in the marking scheme that sometimes they say 1 mark per valid point, and sometimes they say up to 3 marks or up to 4 marks. Okay. This is a very important session, literally speaking, because this will give you a lot more clarity about the mindset of the marker. So those who have missed it, I can only cry for those students. Anyways, manipulation is a broad heading, and there are up to 4 marks available for that. So to get these 4 marks, you have to throw 4 points that are different, giving a different message and adding value to the organization. Okay. Sometimes when we are explaining manipulation, manipulation is what? Deliberate changing of the results. Okay. But sometimes in discussion of the manipulation, we cover 3 to 4 aspects, like performance measures will be manipulated, okay, which shows good performance of the organization. You get marks for that. Okay. Now, any connecting point which further arises because of this, like for example, staff will be demotivated by the system that we are using. Now, this is another point. This another point focuses on staff. Okay. And the previous point focused on the performance. So as a reader, as an organization, we get an idea about 2 different areas being covered by the same heading of manipulation. So as an organization, it will add value to the reader. Okay, I got to know about that. Okay, this can have an impact on my staff as well. And this can have an impact on overall performance of the organization and getting good reputation in the market maybe. So 2 separate points have been covered under this heading. Both will be given 1 mark each. Are you all with me? Okay. Etisam, again, I'm following the guidance of the examiner. When I say for manipulation up to 4 marks, so in that case, Etisam, I'll say for manipulation, if they say 4 marks up to, you will not get more than that. Okay. And generally, I'll just show you as well. And generally, and they are very smart. Sometimes the most of the time they use the word generally, which means this is a common practice that they follow. So generally, when they say 1 mark per valid point, means they will give you 1 mark for the unique point. So as we will discuss right now, you'll see they won't give you extra marks for that. Okay, they won't give you extra marks for that. But overall, under the heading of manipulation, 4, but individually 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. Now, let me go further to this. I'm just giving a random example. If a question is of 10 marks, and there are 3 broad headings that we have to follow, in which one is manipulation, for example. In this one is A, and this one is B. Okay, so 3 A, B, and manipulation. Now, for a 10-mark question, it's not that we have to write 10 paragraphs. Okay, maybe under A, listen. Maybe under A, there are 4 issues that we had to highlight. Under B, there were 4 issues to highlight. Okay, listen what I'm saying. Under C, there were 4 issues to highlight. You guys are following me, right? Now, I think this marking scheme saves you a lot. And I'm very much surprised to see that if examiner follows the marking scheme as what examiner has mentioned in this article, I really don't understand why people fail. Because it gives you a lot more room to get marks. Example, if for point A you raised 4 issues, 4 were given, you picked up 4, all 4 marks done. Now this is a 10-mark requirement, okay? If I do a simple average, so 10 divided by 3 would be how much? 3.3333 per heading, right? But what I'm saying is up to 4 makes 12. So the room that I'm talking about is if you highlighted 4 issues properly for the first point, you will get 4 marks. Okay. For B, if you manage to highlight 2 issues out of 4, you get 2 marks. Understand what I'm saying? And in case of third, you figured out 4 issues, you got 4 marks. Now, what my point is, if B was not solved correctly, but you did perform well in point A and point C, you still managed to grab how many? 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Because there is no negative marking. There is no negative marking. So you grab 10 out of 10. So this scheme of up to 4, up to 3 gives you the liberty that if in certain area you didn't perform well, but in the other area you did perform well, you can grab marks from that area and not just ensure that you pass in that particular requirement. In fact, you can grab good marks in that area as well. Okay, so clear so far. Done. Now, the basic idea is clear to you now. So let's further get into this article where we are using question 3 of 2017 and just see what it says here. Marks are normally awarded on the basis of 1 mark for each relevant calculation. Clear, everyone? And 1 mark per point relevant to either it is evaluation, either it is assessment, either it is an advice, either it is an explanation asked for. Okay? If you want to grab complete marks, so what it says, where a full answer needs to address all specific number of issues. which means if the examiner has given you information in relation to 7 things, so if you highlight those 7, then only you get complete marks. Okay. Okay, done. Now, I'll open the question. This question, I don't know how many of you have covered the portal completely and can recall this question, but I will not read this question completely. I will just pinpoint key things because I have to actually explain you that what a random student answer can be compared to what they should have answered. Okay. By the way, if you want to have a good understanding, by the way, so I would recommend you to read this rather than I'm just jumping on the key area. So if you guys can read this question quickly, so that will be more better, I feel. What do you think? Yes? It would take 2-3 minutes maximum. Okay, so I'll just give you time to read. Once you are done with the 4 paragraphs, do let me know. I'll just scroll it down. It is a hospital, and it's a not-for-profit hospital, okay, where patients do not have to pay for the treatments, right? It is funded entirely by taxation and level of funding received from the government. Objectives are given. Listen carefully. Question 3 of ACCA APM. Question 3 generally would be a question in which, if you are required to assess the performance or if you're required to comment on the business performance, third question of APM will be a one where you have to actually look at the impact of the business performance by referring that to mission, objectives, or CSFs. Third question of APM exam generally would be a question that requires you to do what? That requires you to now if a question says implication of a certain thing on performance of the company, assess the implication on the performance of the company. Now, to assess the implication, either the impact on the performance will be good, either the impact of the performance will be bad. For example, using RFID, the implication of RFID on the performance will, for example, will be good in the sense that you will get up-to-date information, for example. So what you wrote, the implication is what? The inventory or the information will be up to date. Now you have to see that this positive implication that you mentioned, what connectivity it has with the company's objective. Now, in the same question, maybe the mission statement of the company mentioned that we want innovative ways to do business. So listen, RFID implication on performance will be that performance will get better. Listening to me, performance will get better because of RFID, as we get real up-to-date information. And this also is in line with the company's mission of innovative processes. Understood? So third question of APM generally would be requiring you to connect everything with mission, objectives, CSFs. That connection is important and it will be tested in third question of APM. Okay. Now, objectives are given here. So, access to high quality medical treatment, value for money, innovative ways to deliver treatment. Okay, done. Now, okay, it is very clearly mentioned that the system are inadequate for measuring the objectives. They don't put attention to non-financials, right? And what doctor said, that we achieve our financial budgets. So the doctor clearly shows that the focus is on achieving financial budgets. Okay, that we clearly achieve our financial budgets. And how doctors work much longer hours than colleagues in other hospitals, but they are not paid for the extra hours they work. Listen to me carefully. Neither they have government funding to recruit more doctors. When we are busy, we refer the patients to go to larger hospitals nearby. Once you send people to larger hospitals nearby, number of patients would go down, right? Yes. So the waiting time would reduce. Okay. Which means now you are able to resolve a patient more quickly than previously. So doctor says this is what you have done. Plus, we don't know much about innovation in treatment. And the data that we receive is financial target data. Okay. Now, I'll come to the requirements later on. The last thing I want to show, and then I'll jump towards the read the markers mind document. And what I'll do, I will take this session as a blessing for me to share the feedback in relation to what the marker has in their mind. And I will use this session as a rehearsal today that as to what you think needs to be written here and whether you will get marks or not. Okay. So look at the data. The data includes number of doctors, right? Total doctor salaries, including overtime. Then third, then fourth, then fifth, and then sixth. Okay. Clear. Now I'm coming to the requirement. Okay. First requirement. And as I always do, find out verbs and objects. Explain. What to explain? Come on. Why non-financials are important for not-for-profit organization like TRH. Listen to me very carefully. 5 marks. So what action do you have to perform? Explain. And explanation is required that why NFPIs are important for the not-for-profit organization for 5 marks, which means 5 reasons, 5 reasons that you have to mention, which will give clarity that because of these reasons, NFPIs are important for not-for-profit organizations. 5 reasons. If you want to score complete 5 marks, so how many reasons you have to come up with? 5 unique reasons, or 5 reasons that add value to the reader, that okay, because of this NFPIs are important, because of this NFPIs are important, because of this NFPIs are important. With me, everyone? Okay. Now I'll try to make you the marker as well. Let's see whether that happens or not. With this first requirement, I will go to the document now. This is the first requirement. Clear? Now, if you see in the document, the examiner has mentioned 5 points. I'll open the script of the first one. Let's get a duplicate tab. Okay. Now, candidate 1 who answered this part. The answer of the candidate was, let's see. The first point that was mentioned, that organization, as the name indicates, organization is not established to make profits or to maximize returns. Now, this point was given 1 mark. Why? Because you actually mentioned here that not-for-profit organization is a not-for-profit organization. They don't earn profits. So it's a general point, but you actually explained the key characteristic of NFPO. So you got 1 mark. Okay. The second point that was awarded 1 mark was a one where they linked with the question. If you link with the scenario, and they link that with the scenario, that TRH is a not-for-profit organization as well, because TRH doesn't charge anything, doesn't take any payments, doesn't have any revenue, and funding comes from the government. So it's a not-for-profit organization. Giving relevance to the scenario gave you 1 mark. Okay. Now, if from the linking point of view, I tell you, so you can see here Point one, funding comes from the government. Funding comes from the government. They don't have to pay for it. All these things are mentioned in the scenario. Yes or no? Yes. And this is basically a not-for-profit organization, and TRH is of that kind. So by mentioning this, as it was given in the scenario, if you link that with the scenario, you're getting the point. Okay. Zach Khan, I mentioned marks are those that you will get if you add a value, but it is not that every time all points that add value is what you have to focus on. I'm just telling you the different types where you can grab marks. So adding value points is one type you can grab marks. Okay. So is this clear? Now, 2 marks done. Third point. Listen please. Performance of not-for-profit organization will be measured by not-for-profit indicators such as customer feedback. Okay, now here examiner gave 1 mark because the candidate gave example about the KPI or gave example that feedback is a non-financial measure and this non-financial measure is useful for not-for-profit organization. Okay. But personally, the only reason examiner gave marks here was that student mentioned about performance measure. Now, this is a unique point. Listen, this is a unique point about performance measure, right? This was a general point about the not-for-profit organization, and this was something they linked with the scenario. Okay, so if you go back and see, the student got 3 marks out of 5, not 5 out of 5, because there were so many other things that you could have linked to show the importance of NFPIs. Okay, before I go to those points, but in fact, let me go to those points first. See, what else you could have written here to grab marks? Be with me, everyone. Funding comes from government, right? This means it's a public sector organization. Public sector organization. Okay. This means will not close. Will not close. Government won't close the hospital, no matter if they are incurring loss. Understood? Because it's not a profit-making machine. It's a not-for-profit organization. So they will not close this company, even there is a loss, which means financials are not important. This means financials are not important. So what is important? Healthcare. What is important? Healthcare. So government wants good healthcare. So non-financials are important. See, I came up with a point that I'm proving here that non-financials are important. Are you with me, everyone? I'll try to connect each and everything. And for that, it will take time, but at the end, you will get a lot more clarity than what you're thinking right now. Okay. because I know where I have to reach. What is my objective from today's session? Okay. Another point that will emphasize, that will emphasize is multiple stakeholders. In a not-for-profit organization, there are multiple stakeholders. And multiple stakeholder means financially they are not inclined towards very much. Like patients, they need healthcare, society, they need better lives. Okay. So multiple stakeholder means focus should be on non-financials. Understood? This is a unique point. Even I elaborate this in a single line or 2 lines, I'll get 1 mark. Okay. Listen. Multiple objectives. Multiple stakeholders will have multiple objectives. Multiple objective needs to be addressed means there should be focus on non-financials. Are you with me? So you could have secured 5 marks by putting these 2 points as well. Okay. Now, be with me, everyone. Going back to the document, and let's look at another student performing the same requirement and how many marks that student got. Okay. And then I'll take you to the official answer to tell you how much room you have. So before I go to that second student answer, I just want to show you the notes mentioned by the examiner. Note 1, why examiner gave 1 mark here. Note 2 and note 3, why examiner gave 1 mark. So let's have a look. In case of note 1, the examiner says, because you wrote general about not-for-profit, you got mark. Okay. Second, because you illustrated that with the scenario that TRH is a not-for-profit, you got mark. Okay. Actually, for me, second point is an extension of first point, but examiner gave 2 separate marks to show the illustration of that. Understood? Third, because you suggested performance indicators, you got 1 mark. Okay. However, you did manage to score 3 out of 5. You could have scored more by coming up with the points in relation to NFPI, in relation to non-financial performance indicators, importance for not-for-profit organization. Okay. Are we clear, everyone? Okay. Now, let's go to the official answer. Listen, be with me. Let's go to official answer. And I'll mark 5 points, unique points for you. Number 1, they did use heading lack of profit making objective. Now this is one heading, but under this heading, they came up with different unique points to grab marks. So as per the examiner understanding, examiner has not mentioned this, but this is my judgment. This is my judgment that these are the unique points that can give you marks. So be with me. First, to mention about not-for-profit organization, what kind of organization not-for-profit is, okay, and TRH is of that kind. I believe 1 mark you can grab here. Second, okay. Second, this is extra information, I feel. This is extra information because sometimes in exam question there is extra information as well. Then, because it's an essential public service, will not be closed. If financial numbers are not good, it will not be closed. This means financial objectives are less relevant here. Less relevant here. Okay? Hence, non-financials will be important in this case. Understood? So I am giving you the reason that non-financials are important. Then 1 mark here. Multiple stakeholders having multiple expectations means you need to have focus on non-financials. 1 mark. Okay. The heading got changed. The heading got changed. But in this heading, multiple objectives requires to focus on non-financials. 1 mark. Are you with me? Yes or no? Last. Not-for-profit organization outputs, the output that they provide, like for a hospital is good healthcare is an output. Okay. Now, good healthcare is financial or non-financial? It's non-financial. It's non-financial. So the output is non-financial. The output itself is non-financial. And we give an example here, like giving prompt high quality treatments to patient. And this was mentioned here in the objectives. So the output itself is non-financial. Then how can we focus on financial? So non-financials are important here. 1 mark. Hello, with me everyone. So 1 makes 5 marks. 5 marks you will get if you came up with the reasons why non-financial are relevant for not-for-profit organization. Okay? Be with me. Despite that, examiner gave student the marks, and now you can compare. Gave students the marks for mentioning what not-for-profit is, relating that with TRH, and also giving a hint that non-financials are important. So this is one of the indicators or the example indicators that these are useful for such a company. Okay. Okay. Now Danish says this is too much to write for 5 marks. Correct. But when I said that you have to write all these points in this much detail, I never said that. What my point is, did you mention 5 good reasons? Did you mention 5 good reasons even in 2 lines, each point. That gives clarity that, okay, because of this, it is important. Danish, are you with me? Examinable verb is explain. And in case of explain, you tell why. I want to see your face because I believe a lot in face-to-face interaction. So anyways, so what I'm saying is, Danish, in APM, first of all, quantity doesn't matter. Quality matters. Okay? Quality matters. Number one. Number two, if you have explained a point which fulfills the requirement, that's fine. Now, verb, I was telling the verb is explain. In explain, we tell why. So I have to come up with why non-financial is important for this type of organization. So it's not about this much to write. It's about, are you coming up with 5 unique reasons or not? Okay. Now, if you have understood, guys, come on, be with me. If you have understood this, I'm showing you another script of the student. And now you tell me that whether the student have covered this correctly as per your thought or not, and how many marks should be given. Ready for this? This is interesting part. Like this, you also will become APM marker very soon. Ready? I would really encourage people to open their webcams because, wow, this would further increase my explanation to a new height anyways. I don't want to push too much, but yeah, it helps me a lot as a tutor because I can see people expression actually. So let's come to the script. Now what I'll do, I'll just try to hide the marks. Okay, so that you just read their comments and nothing more. I've done that well. Here it is. See, read the answer. And just figure it out yourself. Whether the student have covered things or not. And you tell me how many marks. Based on the paragraph. It's not about 3 paragraph, 3 marks. It's about unique things covered, okay? The first, non-financial indicators are important for not-for-profit such as TRH, as their ultimate objective is non-financial. So do you think this first thing explained not-for-profit well? Yes. And it did relate to TRH, yes or no? Yes. So should we give mark? Yes, we should give 1 mark here. Understood? This is what I mean to say by valid point, unique point. Second, therefore, financial performance is of little importance to such an organization. Is this adding value to you? Yes. Because it is further giving you the idea that financial performance is not important for this type of organization mainly. So 1 mark. Adding value to the organization means what? As a reader, as a client, does that point gives you additional thing in your mind as a knowledge, as a value addition. Third, TRG objectives are giving prompt access to high quality medical treatment. The 3 E's, contributing to medical science, which are all non-financial in nature. Understood? Therefore, TRS needs to use non-financial indicators. Is this a good reason to use non-financial? Is this mentioned in the scenario here? Yes, this is mentioned in this scenario that they want this to happen. You did link with the scenario. So if you did that, you will get a mark for this as well. 3 marks done. Okay. Let's find out the other reasons. Nothing. Nothing. So how many marks out of 5? Tell me. 3. Why 2 marks lost it? Why the student lost 2 marks? Danish, don't look at the quantum that okay, I have written 7 lines here. No. Unique points, which means professional marks. I'm ignoring professional marks here right now because just focusing on technical one. Okay. 2 marks the student missed out because didn't mention further reasons here. Okay. So that student missed out the marks by not coming up with the reasons why non-financials are important for such a not-profit organization. Understood? So 3 out of 5 in this case. And if you look at the examiner's feedback, the marker's feedback, I would say, point 1, I explained all these 3 things. Now, this is a sound answer as far as it goes, which means the flow was good. The flow was good. But for full marks, funding or stakeholder or multiple objective area should have been covered. This gives me the conclusion. This gives me the conclusion that examiner has kept certain information in the scenario that you should use, and the rest is your commercial acumen as well. Like the commercial acumen part that came here is multiple stakeholders, multiple objectives. Funding comes from government, so it will not close. Okay? It will not close. It will be kept open. Are you getting the point, everyone? Now I'll add the new marking scheme in this. If you covered points using commercial acumen, the one I just mentioned here, other than the technical marks, they will also award you professional marks. Now, by this you will understand that examiner now wants to give you credit, wants to give you out of the box credit if you consider commercial acumen as well. Are you getting the point? Previously, now just think like this. Multiple stakeholders, multiple objectives, thus relates to not-for-profit organization. Yeah, right? In 2017, you were getting technical marks for that. In 2024, also you will get technical marks for that. But you will get extra marks under the heading of commercial acumen as well. So do you understand? I always say it's like buy one, get one free. This is what I mean. But unfortunately, by looking at the passing ratio, I feel today, honestly, that what examiner is mentioning here, they don't follow that. Otherwise, everybody would pass. At least 50%, more than 50% will pass the paper. Understood? So let's close this first part here. You guys are leaving, so I should also leave the meeting then. Anyways, this is a very important session, honestly speaking. Now, do watch the recordings then if you are leaving, but taking live is the best right now. Now, coming back to the last thing to conclude, because there is a lot more left, but last thing to conclude for now is there were points given to you in the scenario like this one that you can relate, like public sector funding entirely from the government, you can relate. And these were the points that are part and parcel of not-for-profit organization. To these I say commercial acumen. So it's a mixture of what is given to you in the scenario that you have to use mainly, and if there is something that adds value, is relevant, is that you have to come up as well. So far clear? Yes or no? So any feedback up till now? So far it is different, obviously, I can see it, but is the session giving you the clarity about marking scheme, the points to write? Okay. Now, before moving ahead, I think let's take a short break and then I will move on to the next requirement, which is a very important requirement, part B actually, which is for 10 marks. And then the third requirement again, that is for 10 marks. Generally, one feedback I want to, because I do check the mocks, so I have seen a lot. If this is a third question, which is the case, so by the time people reach third question, if they started, see, this is not SBL. So you have, for SBL, you have to refer to Sir Hassan. I don't know about SBL. I'm here to discuss APM. So it's not that everything will be similar in all the papers. Okay. By the time we reach to question number 3, so either we are short of time, so we underperform because of being short of time. We don't give that respect, time which is needed for this third scenario. And in that too, the first requirement, second, by the time we reach the last one, we either leave that because we don't have time, or we do it in such a pathetic way that you don't get marks. And you will see the proof today that how bad response students have given in the last question number 3, last part, which is mainly what I feel is time management issue. Okay. Clear. Whatever things that I'm telling you today, I won't remember later on. But you guys have to remember all these things. Take note of all these things, because for you this is relevant. For me, this is a business. For you, it's crucial. because all these things you have to implement and apply in the paper. Okay, let's take a short break. I'll be back in 10 minutes. By the time we come back, I would want you people to comment in the group, the paid group you're part of, and encourage others to join if you think this is important so far. So do good to others. Tell them this is not a casual session going on. Ready. Now, moving forward, coming back to the document again and the next part. Now, if you look at the next part, which was to justify, listen please, justify, this is the verb, okay? One performance measure for each of the components of value for money framework used at the company. Then we see another requirement, and using that measure, whatever you have justified, okay? So whatever you've justified, evaluate whether the company is delivering value for money or not for 10 marks. Now, very quickly, I want you people, because you have taken so many classes with me, so I can expect this small thing from you. That what comes to your mind if this is a 10-mark requirement? How will you break in your mind? Come on, I need interaction. I really get bored while teaching if nobody talks to me. So what do you think? Do you know the basic breakup that comes to your mind? It's value for money. Now, for value for money, what comes to your mind? 3 E's. So it's 3 E's. Okay. And a basic breakup is that first you have to justify a measure for 3 E's, which means they have said one, which means one measure for economy, one for efficiency, one for effectiveness. And then whatever you have justified, evaluate whether company is fulfilling value for money or not. So if I divide this into 3 headings, okay? So listen carefully. Economy will be my first heading. Under this heading, I'll do all the work that they've mentioned me. Economy. Efficiency will be my second heading. Under this heading, I'll do all the work that they've mentioned me. Okay. And effectiveness would be my third heading. And I'll do all the work that they've mentioned me under this heading. Do you guys agree? Okay. So a general split here, will be of 1 mark for the definition of 3 E's. Okay. And then 1 mark for the definition of 3 E's. Okay. And then 1 mark for the definition of 3 E's. Okay. And then 1 mark for the definition of 3 E's. Okay. And then 1 mark for the definition of 3 E's. Okay. And then 1 mark for the definition of 3 E's. Okay. And then 1 mark for the definition of 3 E's. Okay. And then 3 marks, 3 marks for the work that they have mentioned me to do. For this 3 mark, what they have mentioned me to do is justify a measure. Okay. So for this, what I'll do, for these 3 marks, what I'll do, listen. For these 3 marks, what I'll do, I will mention the measure for 1 mark. I will, because I have to evaluate whether we are achieving VFM or not. So I'll calculate the measure for 1 mark. And based on my calculation, I will comment on the results that we are achieving VFM or not, 1 mark. So 3 marks in this same way for economy, come up with 1 measure, calculate it and comment. Same for efficiency, same for effectiveness, makes 9, and 1 mark for the combined definition of these 3. Combined definition of these 3. Are you all with me? Understanding the point? Yes? So listen, this is what my or a general person breakup would be, a general perception will be. And I never open the marking scheme in my classes because I think from the point of view that when you will go in the examination, how would you know the marking scheme? Obviously, we don't know the exact marking scheme. So what I'll do, I'll just go and check the exact marking scheme for this question. Today, what I'm doing is something I haven't done before in so many years, which I think I should have done it. But anyways, every time you learn from things and you see, I'll open in the marking scheme. This is the marking scheme. Very carefully listen here. As per this marking scheme, you can see here, definition of 3 is 1 mark collectively. Now, I call this as easy pickings, and you will be shocked to see today something to which I am saying easy picking, how you guys lose those marks. Imagine 49. Oh, it kills. 49. Oh man. What, brother? 49? 1 easy mark. 1 easy mark for the definitions. But again, what do you mean by definitions? How much to write for it? I'll tell you today. Number 2. What I mentioned was 3, right? But see what examiner marking scheme says. Each E up to 4 marks. Oh, and this is lovely, to be honest. This up to is, wow, awesome. But I'm again repeating this. If examiner checks according to what they have mentioned, for me, people will pass. 50, more than 50% should pass. Either they don't do what they say, or we guys become total pathetic when we go in the examination. So listen, up to 4 marks. The breakup is 1 mark for justification, which I mentioned you. 1 mark for calculation. I told you 1 mark for the discussion, but here examiner can give you 2 marks for a good discussion. Now just add all. 4 for economy, 4 for efficiency, 4 for effective. Makes how much? 12? Yes. And 1 mark for the definition makes 13. Will you ever get 13 if the question is of 10 marks? No. You will never get 13. But you can get 10 out of 10. You can get 10 out of 10 even if you lost marks in certain areas. Because there is a 3 additional mark room available for you to grab. Listening me? For example, if I forgot to write definitions. Fine. Even though it gives me easy numbers, still I can play the match. Still I can win the match. Because still I have 12 marks. From 12 I have to grab 10. With me? One more thing again. If I took how to grab 10 again. If I forgot to write definitions, even though it is easy numbers. For economy, I grabbed 3 marks. For efficiency, I grabbed 3 marks. And for effectiveness, I can grab 4 marks. Wow. Even though I missed out on definitions, even though I never scored complete for economy, complete for efficiency, but I can still manage to get 10 out of 10. Understanding the point? A quick example here. For example, for economy, I did my calculation wrong. But the comment based on that wrong calculation was right. I will not get marks for calculation, but I will get marks for the comment completely if my comment is according to that wrong calculation. Another example, and you'll be surprised to listen. In efficiency, the question asked me to justify the performance measure. I forgot to justify. I just mentioned the indicator. That's it. For example, patients treated per doctor. Patients treated per doctor. This class that I'm taking today, and I'll make it free for everyone. I'll share this on my YouTube channel, on VIFHE YouTube channel. And those of your friends who are not taking classes with me, or anybody else you know, make sure to watch this session. Ask them to watch, because this can give you a lot more clarity what is going on. So this is a social message that you have to pass on behalf of me to others, okay? Please do fulfill this social duty. I won't earn anything from this. Student will pass the paper. So listen, patient per doctor. I didn't justify it. I did not justify it. I did not justify it. I just mentioned the measure. Now, I mentioned the measure, did the calcs for it, did the calculation for it, and did the discussion for it as well. Surprisingly, I will not get marks for justification, but I will get 1 mark for calculation. And if my discussion is up to the point, I will recover that 1 mark that I lost by doing good in terms of discussion, getting 2 marks from there. which means I still managed to grab 3. I still managed to grab 3. Even I missed out one thing. Mushfiq, calculation of the performance indicator, the measure, because we have to evaluate as well whether company is providing VFM or not. So for that, we have to calculate it. Okay. So guys, do you understand? Now you people are so much psychologically disturbed, sorry to say, or in or so much have inferiority complex or negative mindset that when you come out of the examination, oh, I forgot to justify the measure, I forgot to do the calculation, I forgot to write the definition. And a person who is doing like this 3 times got 10 out of 10 in this part. Reason, you have to understand the marker's mind. And if you understand the marker's mind, that's it. You guys do job somewhere. If you do job somewhere, you must have tried to make your immediate boss happy through fair means. Okay? And how you managed to do that was to understand the mindset of the immediate boss, what he likes, what he dislikes. Yes or no? I wanted to see the expressions of students when I'm giving such an example. But unfortunately, the only thing I see is Mushfiq, Raza, Asmit, Kumar, Babita, Minna, Favor. That's it. The names of the student. Okay. So what I'm saying is, you try to make your immediate boss happy, right? Because you want to do anything that the boss likes. Exactly that is the case. If you understand the mindset of the examiner, you will make examiner happy. Mushfiq, good frame. I like your glasses. The frame style is good. See, this is the benefit of watching each other. Good one. Okay, so what I'm saying here, did you understood the trick here to grab complete marks even you miss out on things? This is the benefit of up to. Now, let's look in reality whether that happens or not. So I again will say this thing to publish this article. Maybe I think examiner has done sort of examiner has shown that type of marking to make us happy, but I really doubt whether when we get the results in front of us, so it's like some out of the box thing is happening. Anyways, coming to the second part, 4 marks up to and 1 mark for the definition of all the 3. Okay, so my advice to my students will be grab easy mark through definitions. But what kind of definitions? Let's see. Okay. Wow, this is interesting. You will like this one. Okay, let me just go to the script one. I'm hiding the marks. I don't want to show you the marks. I'm hiding the marks so that you gauge what needs to be done in this case. Okay, part B, value for money framework. Everyone be with me. If you would have been in this case, you would have tried to write the definition because I told you to write definition, grab easy marks, right? So you mentioned value for money based on 3 framework. First is economy. First is economy. Okay. First is economy. What is economy? obtaining inputs at lowest cost. Is this economy? Yes or no? Yes. What is efficiency? Looks at output generated and compare this to input. Is this efficiency? Input to output relationship? Come on, yes or no? Yes. Somehow, yes. Third, looks at achieving the overall objectives of the organization. Is this effectiveness? Yes or no? If these three definitions are correct, how many marks will you get? Come on, mention the chat box. Oh man. Three, one. What are you doing? One. 1 mark for all three definitions. 1 mark. Okay? Clear? Yes or no? Okay, now listen. See, the marks for definition of threes has not been awarded as descriptions are too vague. Now, this is the same feeling you will understand. Try to relate today what I'm saying. When we come out of the examination hall, we say, my paper went awesome. And on the result day, I don't know what happened. This is what happens. Just compare these two things. Obtaining input at lowest cost. This is what economy is. Yes, this is what economy is. But examiner says, sorry, no marks because this is too vague. So what is not vague? You want to check this, right? What is not vague? A small change. This is the exact script I'm showing you. What is not vague? Listen, be with me and see. I'm just marking the area to tell you this is not vague and you'll get marks. Economy means obtaining resources at lowest cost. This is not vague for examiner. Come on, don't argue with me. You might not agree with me. You might not agree. You will say, come on, it's the same thing. That student just wrote obtaining input at lowest cost. This versus economy means obtaining resources at lowest cost almost means the same. Yes or no? But according to examiner, you have to mention clearly economy means obtaining resources at lowest cost. Efficiency relates obtaining greatest possible outputs from resources available. Efficiency says maximum output from given input. Is that right? But see what the answer here is. Looks at output generated compared to its input. Wrong. Wrong. Efficiency is what? Maximum output from given input. Understanding one point? And what the answer is? Looks at output generated compared to this input. Not the correct explanation. But we thought this to be, right? To what I say easy marks, by seeing such kind of answers, I'm like, we lost on easy marks. Third, looks at achieving objectives of the organization versus the official answer. Effectiveness means how well the company has achieved its objectives. How well. See, this is giving you 1 mark versus you are not getting a mark for such kind of answer. Here it says effectiveness looks at achieving objectives, but examiner answer is how well the company has achieved it. What I feel here is that presentation should be properly done. Okay, presentation should be properly done, and the use of right words should be there. Anyways, you said you 3 marks, examiner is not interested in giving marks. So you lost 1 mark for the definitions. Fair enough. Okay, fine. We lost it. Now, do you have options of getting up to 4 marks for economy, efficiency, effectiveness still? Yes or no? Still you have 1 mark got. Still you have. For getting that 4 marks, you need to do 3 things. Justify a measure, do the catch for that, and discuss. Okay, for that I'll go here, show you the data. Come on, what do you recommend me to work out here for economy? I want you people to quickly look here. In fact, tell for all the 3. Tell me for all the 3. Economy, efficiency, effective. Just think and tell me. And listen. Not just mention here the indicator, also tell me the reason for that. Why you opted for this one. Are you all working? Thinking? Let me do a bit practice in order to improve my cricket. Okay, now let's stop and see. Economy, in this case, I have doctors and the salaries of the doctor, including overtimes and all. So economy here would be salary per doctor. I'll say salary per doctor is a measure of economy. Understood? I will not get a single mark for that. But if I add something into this, I'll get 1 mark. And what is that something? Justify why. So how much justification I need to give here? By just saying that doctors are the key resource, are the key inputs, and their costs and salaries are important for the business. So to measure it, we can use salary per doctor. That's it. 1 mark. Okay, 1 mark. Now, read this answer of that particular student. Obtaining inputs at lowest cost. You didn't get the mark for this, what you've written here. But in TRH case, this would include doctor, salary and medicines. Perfect. Performance measure that could be used here includes salary per doctor.
If you just mention salary per doctor, you will get 0. Understanding the point? But if you will say and come up with a basis for that, and the basis is what? This. From here till here, that's it. And you will get mark for that. Understood? Yes? Okay. Efficiency. Performance measure that could be used here, including number of patients treated per doctor. Okay. So for efficiency, my first point, okay, done with the performance measure, done. Effectiveness, for effectiveness, no measure has been given to me here. No measure. So if the justification is correct, see, examiner will give marks as it says, mark given for each measures linked to economy and efficiency. And if you look at the examiner answer, I'm highlighting here. From here till here is the justification that is required to get 1 mark. And that is, doctor's salaries will be significant increase for TRH, and salary per doctor is a suitable measure for economy. 1 mark for justification. Second, treating patient is a key objective of TRH. Okay. Number of doctors is an important resource. Patient is output, doctor is input. Patient is output, doctor is input. I mentioned both. Number of patients treated per year by each doctor is a good measure of efficiency. 1 mark for this. So I'm telling you the exam marking scheme. 1 mark for this justification, 1 mark for this justification. Now for effectiveness. For effectiveness, you have to come up with the objective on your own, or it is given in the question. So if you see here, there are 3 objectives given here. If you pick the first objective, access to high quality medical treatment for patients. So if you go below, from this data, how can you measure high quality? How can you measure high quality? Readmitted divided by total patients. Not just readmitted in absolute terms. No. Readmitted divided by total patient. If you just mention readmitted, no marks. No marks. Readmitted as a percentage of total. This is a KPI, and you have to mention, because the objective is to provide high quality treatment, percentage of readmitted to total will give the idea how good quality service we are giving. Understood? So, see, I'm highlighting here multiple objectives. Yeah, there are. One of which is to provide high quality medical treatment, where readmitted rate of reduction is a major effectiveness. Okay? Clear? So, going back to the note, the student managed to get 2 marks No, nothing for definition. 2 marks so far. One for the measure of economy, one for the measure of effectiveness, sorry, efficiency, and nothing for effectiveness so far. Okay. Moving ahead to the answer. Now see come on, this is very important. Tell me about this part. Then the answer is writing about for the first objective. Which objective the student is referring to? The student is referring to this objective 1, this objective 2, this objective 3. For these 3 objectives, what is mentioned? The measure could be number of patients treated in a year. The second objective, the measure could be this. For third objective, the measure could be this. How many marks? Come on, how many marks? Come on, you are the marker now, yeah. I just said it, yeah. This is what we commonly use in Urdu language or Hindi language. 0. Is there any negative marking? No. So, what if I got 0? Oh man, what you have done? What have you done even though there is no negative marking? You wasted your time. You wasted your time, and wasting time has a cost. That is less time to complete other things. That also has a cost. That if you don't pass, you fail, and failing has a cost. Financial loss and promotion loss, qualification loss, time loss. So 0 marks for this part. Examiner clearly said, no marks, sorry, don't become too much smart. If your glasses are good, that's only good. But don't become smart by writing the answers that are not needed. So no marks for suggesting additional measures. That's why we always say, please be within your boundaries. Just joking, huh? Okay, so done. Now your frame really looks good. I'm again seeing the frame. It really looks good. Okay, now so far done. Let's go back to wasted the time. That's it. Nothing else. Let's go towards the next area. Now, what the student has done. Now, my preference would be to use 3 headings. Economy, under that do all the things. Efficiency, under that do all the things. Effectiveness, under that do all the things. Okay. But this student preferred writing definitions first, giving measures first, and then doing evaluation, the calculation part later on. That's fine. That's fine. There is no one right approach, but the one to make right, you have to justify it. Okay. Just a small break. Azan is going on. 2 minutes. Okay. I'll be back. Okay. So where I was. Now, starting with the first one. Economy. Calculation. 1 mark. This is the discussion done on the basis of calculation. Let's read it. 150,000 is the salary per doctor of TRH, okay, which is lower compared to the national and remain within budgets with regard to this measure. Now, I want to ask a question here. For 2 minutes, if I hide the paragraph, and I just ask you to tell me what this indicates, so what will you tell me? What will be your answer? Your answer will be what? The cost of TRH per doctor is 150, less than national 175. Is that right? Which means a stupid of any level, if that person is an APM student, will know that this means the cost given or the salary given by TRH is less than national. And if that stupid of any level rewrites this again with an expectation that, wow, what an evaluation I've done, I should get marks. What do you think? It's a joke. Anything that anybody can understand from the numbers is, if you rewrite that, you will get, see, 0, nothing. With love from examiner. Come back again. I miss you so much. Discussion or comment means what? Discussion or comment means from the numbers. What do you understand in relation to why this has happened? Why our cost is less than the national? Why this has happened? This is what I have to answer. I have to discuss based on the results. I cannot rewrite what the results are. So now, what is the reason? Our cost is less than the national. What could be the reason? Okay. The reason here could be very simple, and that is we are not paid for working overtime. We are not paid for working overtime. Understood? This is the reason. That's why our cost is less. Or the competence of the doctor. The competence of the doctor. Maybe our doctors are not very much competent compared to the nationals. So you can see here, by mentioning this, what we can mention, level of experience could be the reason, or unpaid overtime could be the reason. Yes, clear? Okay. Now, if I mention either this is the reason or that is the reason, this is the right evaluation. So 0 marks for this rewriting stuff. But now the strange part. The student missed out what I just mentioned, but the strange part, see, from here, it should be noted, however, that the staff satisfaction rate
remains low compared to the national average. Now, if I go there and check, so staff satisfaction rate is 9 compared to the national 89, and this could be due to we are not paying them for overtime, or we are using them for long working hours. As a company, is this point adding value to your understanding? Come on. Yes, you will say, oh, now I understand that why they are not satisfied. Now I understand they're not satisfied. This is adding value. And because it is adding value, examiner for this point will give you 1 mark, but not for the shit what you've written above. Understood? So if you look at the marking scheme, 1 mark for this point, adding value, nothing for this. And what examiner says, it's a clear message to you people. Mark given for calculation, fine. Simply restating in words that one amount is less and the other amounts earns 0. Don't write it. However, 1 mark was awarded for linking the measure to other information. Other information is what? Staff satisfaction survey. In the scenario as this adds value and see. No, this doesn't pertain to this one. Where is that point? I just want to. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Add value with comments relevant to the issue in hand. Okay, understood? So, if you look at the answer, official answer, listen, calculation here, 1 mark. Calculation here, 1 mark. Readmitted percentage, 1 mark. Fine. And the comment done by the official answer is what? From here till here. How many reasons? 1, it is low due to low experience or unpaid overtime. If you write this point, you get 1 mark. And listen, if you also wrote about staff satisfaction being low, you also get 1 mark. So how will I get 4 marks now for economy? 1 mark for the calculation, done. 1 mark for the justification, done. For discussion, there were 2 marks, right? So in that, 1 mark for mentioning that the cost is low due to overtime or level of experience. And the other mark is by relating with staff satisfaction, done with 4 marks. Anybody who wants 4 will get it 4 like this. The student that I just mentioned here got 3 marks. One for measure, one for calc, and one for mentioning that staff satisfaction will be affected. Are we clear, everyone? Okay. Okay. So you can see here. Full 3 marks were awarded. 1 mark for calc. Okay. Okay, for economy, I'm right at economy. Yeah, this is for economy. Yeah, for economy, this is clear that where is the summary? Okay, yeah. For economy, I've already mentioned 1 mark justification, 1 mark for calculation, and 1 mark for the discussion part. 3 marks done. Student didn't avail 4, got 3. Fine. Coming to the efficiency part. Calculation, 1 mark. Let's read. On average, at TRH, each doctor is treating 975 patients, which compares favorably with national average of 830 patients. It could be argued that TRH is maximizing the efficiency of their qualified doctor workforce. Okay. So, in terms of value for money, it seems that they are more efficient. Compared to the national. This was the original answer. If you look at the examiner answer, which is much better, where you have to tell the reason. This may be because they work longer hours than their colleagues in other hospitals. This is true. If they work more hours, they can deal with more patients. And if they deal with more patients, so their patient to doctor ratio will increase. Okay. Okay. So in this case, 3 marks were awarded. Let's see how. Full 3 marks were awarded, 1 mark for the calculation and 2 marks for the discussion of efficiency was given. Okay. And 1 mark was given earlier for the indicator of efficiency. So altogether, this student managed to grab 4 marks in this area. Now, this is an example of getting 4 marks in this area. Right? Last, coming towards effectiveness. Where is the calculation of effectiveness? Okay. Yeah. What this person did, let me tell you what this person did. By mistake, he did that, but let's see whether he has been penalized for that or not. Under the heading of efficiency, he also did calculation for effectiveness. Because what he did, he actually did a good thing, but the heading was wrong. He actually related his efficiency performance with effectiveness. And what is the link? Why, if you deal with more patients, okay? So
According to efficiency, you performed well. But what this can result into, if you deal with patients quickly, so the treatment will be good or bad? Bad. If treatment will be bad, what will happen? People will come again. Patients readmission will be more. So if you see, the readmission is more compared to national. So this student did what? He tried to link efficiency with effectiveness. This is good. And he's getting marks for that. But the heading was wrong. Will examiner penalize him for this? No. He's a mature person. He doesn't have those small grudges that we people have. Okay, I'll see what I'll do with you when I'll get the chance. Like our immediate bosses do with us. Why you put this in the wrong head? Come on, it's a mistake. So examiner is not penalizing you for this because your answer gives him the impression, okay, fine. So you are getting marks here for effectiveness calculation. Listen, effectiveness calculation. But I'll tell you one strange thing. If you look at the comment, the high percentage of readmit patient is compared to national average indicate quality of the service is not good. Perfect. Perfect. You actually link this with the objective of high quality treatments. And another best thing that student did, this could be attributed to low salary paid. And he also linked this with economy. He also linked that with economy, that they are not paid for this, they work overtime. So the quality is not good, which means your economy seems to be good when you pay less, right? But if that economy results in bad effectiveness, that's bad for the business. It's the conclusion actually. Similarly, if you work efficiently, fast, but you compromise on quality, that's bad. So this statement is a very good concluding statement given by the student that you are good in economy, you are good in efficiency, but you failed in effectiveness. What matters at the end of the day? Teaching more number of students at a lower fees and ensuring that they fail. Is this good approach? Or teaching less students at high fees, but ensuring that they pass? What counts at the end of the day? Passing ratio. So effectiveness will overweight efficiency and economy as well. So the student comment were perfectly fine. Now I'm asking one question. This student calculated the right KPI, 1 mark. He did his assessment of effectiveness very good. 2 marks I'll give him. Because he linked effectiveness with efficiency, economy, both. Are you with me? He linked his comment with the objective as well. Linked with the objective as well, with economy and efficiency, both. I'll give him 2 marks for the discussion part, 1 mark for calculation, but still he managed to grab 3 in effectiveness. You know why? Because the measure that he worked out here, he never gave any justification about this measure. He never gave any justification about this measure at this point. So he will lose marks by not giving justification, still managed to grab 3 marks. I don't know you are getting my point here or not. So if you look at the summary of the student, the summary is here. See,
And you'll be shocked to listen here. 3 marks for economy, 3 marks for effectiveness, 4 marks for efficiency. 3 plus 3 plus 4 is how much? 10? Yes. If 3 plus 3 plus 4 is 10, this means this student managed to grab 10 out of 10. Out of 10. And where he missed out, he was bad in definitions. He missed out in case of effectiveness, KPI justification. He was not good in discussion when it comes to economy. Still, he grabbed 10 out of 10 because he had the room of missing out on 3 marks because 13 were available for this 10 mark requirement. Shocked? Now, this is one student script versus let me now test you. You give marks now. Let's come to the second script of the second student and let's see how much he managed to score. Are you with me? Let's test it. By this you will get the clarity of the marking scheme as well. Let's give marks to the second one. I want you people to mention in the comment section, please. Here it is. Should we start? Start. The 3 performance measures used, and these are economy and effectiveness. Come on, tell me. Anything for this part? Anything for this part? No. Why? Because examiner knows about it. Examiner has mentioned about the 3 measures in the question. So even if you wrote it, that's fine, but don't expect marks from this. Now, economy. Come on, read the definition. Measure of how much resources cost to perform an activity or service. In this case, appropriate measure would be total doctor salary, including overtime, and average doctor salary, including overtime. Under this measure, the following figures can be produced. Hello? Is the definition okay? Etisham, you are giving marks here. Bad. Okay. Definition is not very much to the point, I would say. So, not very convinced. But what about the indicator? Indicator is okay? The indicator is okay. Yes. Justified, well justified. 1 mark. Done? Okay. Calculation. Oh, what is this? Entire table has been copy pasted by the student. So where is the main thing that I want? Here it is. Examiner, sorry, the student has worked this measure for budgeted as well as actual. So I think actual 1 is okay. Recreating the table is wasting time. Calculating budgeted based salary per doctor is again not useful. Just 1 measure needed, that's it. And this is the measure. Okay. So I think 1 mark here as well. Done. Let's read the explanation, discussion. Come on, read it please and assign the marks. Any marks? Do you think this explanation has any sort of reason why this happened? Reason? Again, it's a recreation of what the calculation is. Not adding value. It's just numbers that you are explaining here. Zero, buddy, zero. No reasons given why this is the case. Okay, zero. Should I move? So far, how many for economy? I think 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4. Right? Next. Come on. Efficiency. Suitable measure could be number of patients treated. Number of patients treated. This is the KPI. This is the indicator. Will you give marks for this or not? Will you give marks for this or not? No. Why? No justification. No justification. You lost marks here. No justification. Okay, calculation, yes, 1 mark. Calculation, 1 mark. Done? Now, discussion. Let's read the discussion part. This is the discussion part done. Tell me, any value addition, anything that you found out, oh, because of this has happened. Yes. Nothing. Just stating and explaining these again. Where is the reason? Where is the reason that why this has happened? Nothing. Done. Which means just 1 out of 4. See, 1 out of 4. Effectiveness. Performance measure is useful in determining whether high quality medical treatment is being delivered to patient. Okay. We could compare number of patients readmitted. Come on, what do you think? Is this justification correct for this indicator? Yes or no? Yes. Mushfiq, are you with me? 1 mark. This is okay because you related this with high quality medical treatments. You gave a reason. You gave a reason for that. Fine. Calculation. Any calculation done? Any calculation done for this? Or these are the absolute figures? No calculation done. 0 marks. No indicator. We didn't came up with the indicator. Okay? No indicator. No marks. So now you haven't done the calculation. You haven't done the calculation, but let's read the comment. If the comment is explaining these, you will get marks despite not doing calculation. As the number of readmitted patients to TRS is much higher than the national, it could be considered that TRH is not achieving its objective of high quality. High quality. So somehow you related that with somehow you related this with the objective one. Yes, but again, not a good evaluation. Sorry, not a good discussion. But at least you will get marks just because of one thing, and that is high quality is what you just related this with. But again, just 1 mark here. So how many? 2 out of 4, which means in this part, in total, the student scored how much? 5 out of 10. And the previous answer of that student was, for this part, he scored 10 out of 10. Very good point, Zach. Very good point. I'll just read his question. Is a mark given generally given if we link a point either to objective or vision of the company? The answer is yes. This is what I was mentioning. APM section B question is where they expect you to check the performance or link that with the stated mission, objective, whatever is given. Done, guys? Clear? Okay. The last requirement. And the last part is about evaluate extent to which management style can be said to be budget constrained. I think this is the requirement here as well. Let me just check. Yeah. Evaluate the extent to which management style at TRH can be said to be budget constrained. You know what budget constraint style is? You know it, right? You know what budget constraint style is? Focusing on financial short-term targets only. Okay. So you have to evaluate to what extent the company is following budget constraint style. Then you have and another verb, advise. Implication of this approach, which means implication of budget constraint style for managing the performance of the organization. Now listen, first part is to tell or evaluate to what extent companies budget of focusing on budget constraint style. Number 1. Number 2, you have to advise on the impact this style will have on the performance. Now listen here, very interesting. I'll just show you one thing. You have to see the impact this approach will have on the performance. Now when you are answering this part, remember this. See, remember this. Question 3 is very typical of section B of exam. It illustrates the importance of relating assessment of an organization and its performance back to mission, objectives, and CSFs. Which means when you are advising on the effect or impact it will have on the performance, you have to link this back to objectives of the organization. Which means a bad impact on performance will affect your objective or mission adversely. A good impact on your performance will have a good impact on your mission, vision, or objective. Just recall, there are so many requirements in APM where they ask you about what impact this will have on performance of the business, performance system of the business. Remember? So this means whenever they ask you what impact it will have on the performance, you have to think like this. A certain thing will have a good impact on the performance, which means if your cost is saving, if things are getting better, if ultimately your numbers and revenues will grow, so the performance will be good in that case, and hence it will help your mission, vision, and objective. Okay, so let's look into this third requirement. First of all, very quickly, the style that they are following is budget constraint. Okay, they asked me to evaluate the extent to which it is. So what I will say in this case, that in the scenario, it's very clearly mentioned. Doctor saying that we achieve our financial budgets. Okay. Doctors say that we are given with financial targets. Okay. Looking at the details, it is clear that what budget was given to you for salaries, you have achieved that budget. You are within the target. All these suggest that they are following budget constraint style. Agreed? They are following what? Budget constraint style. Because by the information, it is clear that focus is on financial budgets only. So a student can grab 2 marks by doing this. Number one, first you can start with a quick basic definition of budget constraint style, and then you have to come up with the relevant points to justify that it is budget constraint style. And the points that will give you the authority to say this are given the scenario. Number one, financial budgets is what we achieve always. Number two, financial targets is what is given to us most of the time. Okay. Number three, the budget and the actual are same. Okay. Understood? So this will give you 2 marks. Easy 1 mark for definition and 1 mark for the relevant points that you will write that will give idea that they are following budget constraint. Now, second thing which was mentioned here, and advise implication of this on the performance. Now, quickly, budget constraint style will have a positive impact on the performance or a negative impact on the performance, I don't need general points. You will get this if you write basic theory. If you write basic theory, you'll get this scenario. So see, I'll change the color again. I like using different colors today. Listen very carefully. Number one, such a budget constraint style results in short-termism. Results in short-termism. This will be negative. How? They are not paid for the time they work. This is budget constraint style. Why they are not paid? Because they have to be within the salaries. So they are not paid for the work they do. Okay? This is having a bad impact on their satisfaction. Satisfaction has gone down. Budget constraint style having an impact on the business that staff will not be happy. Come on. And if staff will not be happy, this bad performance will, let's relate with the objective. This bad performance will result in bad quality treatment, which was indicated by readmissions. This is what I say, link performance to mission, objective, vision, and CSFs. First evidence. I'll tell you the exact marking scheme here. Listen, that's my observation, okay? Number two, not liking this pen color. Number two, another evidence. Manipulation. Manipulation. They are short of resources. They want to show good performance. If there are too many patients, they simply transfer to the large hospital so that their performance seems to be good in front of everyone. It's a simple case of manipulation where you want to show good results because you don't have resources available. Come on, what impact this will have on the performance? Negative, yes. And what impact it will have on your objective? That you are not providing good health care. You are not providing timely health care. Third evidence. Not enough money to recruit doctors because budget constraint style doesn't allow you to hire more people, which means more time taken, or I would say if you don't have more doctors, this will affect the performance badly because readmissions will increase, which means your objective will not be achieved again. See, I'm making connection with objective again and again. Number four evidence. Oh, where is that point? Where is that point? I just innovation. Not much innovation done because of financial constraint, because of budget constraint style. If no innovation, bad performance, and see, its impact will be on your objective that innovative ways of treatment are not introduced. I showed you all these points coming up from the scenario. And we'll see what students have done. Listen, is this clear? So let me tell you approximately, it's my judgment, but yeah, this is more or less correct. Approximately, where are those 10 marks? It's a 10-mark requirement. Please, it's an observation, it's my assumption. Maybe it could be a bit different to the real examination mindset. Nothing is mentioned to us. The only thing they have mentioned is in the marking scheme, 1 mark per point. Okay, but it's my judgment using unique pointers, using value added points. So see, it could deviate from the real examination mindset, but more or less it will be correct. Don't go at extra information. 1 mark for the definition. Okay, 1 mark for the definition. One mark to come up to or prove that it's budget constraint style. That they are following right now. Okay, all this is about that. Now, implications. Short termism is what budget constraint will result in. From here till here. Because this is a unique point, because it relates to budget constraint resulting in short termism, 1 mark. Now, see, implication of this will be what? Your performance against objectives, linking with the objectives. Okay, will not be there and readmission will increase. This is something that will give you 1 mark more. Done. Another impact of this, another unique point. This will further result in what? Job related tension. As people are not satisfied, 1 mark. Understood? From this one paragraph, 3 valid points having different value additions or meaning. Okay. Then next point, manipulation of results. As budget constraint will encourage this. From here till here, 1 mark. And how I will prove this? As no medical treatment was done. And what they were doing? They were actually shifting to the other hospitals. Okay? To show good performance. Their waiting time improved, right? Yes or no? 1 mark. Now, what impact this is having? Let's go reverse. Let's go reverse. This will ultimately affect the objective of the organization. And here it is, objective of the organization. So 2 marks covered here. To distort the results and then impact on the objectives. Done. 6. Last paragraph. We can't recruit new doctors because of budget constraint style, 1 mark. Next, we can't do innovation because of this. We'll give you 1 mark. Count. This is an approximate, okay? As per my observation and assumption and using understanding the examiner mindset. So this makes 8 marks here and 2 marks here, with 1 easy mark for definition. Clear, everyone? Now, let's look at the answer of the first student for this part. It will not take much time because they won't trouble us in this area much. Let's see why. They wrote about the definition, got 1 mark. Okay. They did mention that they are following budget constraint style by giving the reasons for that. That is, meeting targets was important. Okay. 1 mark. For implication, see, this is short of time. What we do for implication, read what they have written. Read here. Read what they have written. Just read this paragraph. Implication of having a budget constraint approach is that implication of having a budget constraint approach. He is telling the implication of budget constraint approach that it considers non-accounting information, which means it considers financial information when looking at the performance management. Okay. It also does not consider management of hospital staff performance. Okay. The management style therefore did not match the objective they were set. Is this a general answer? Yes or no? Yes. It's a pure theory based answer, pure theory that relates to budget constraint style. Where is the link with the scenario? Where it mentioned about the implication on the Rosemary and Rice Hospital? Where it is linking performance with the objectives? Zero. Maybe student was short of time, very much high likely chance. Maybe he didn't understood what to write. Lack of knowledge. In fact, I should not say lack of knowledge. I should say lack of application. Knowledge may be there. Application was not there. Understood? Do give me feedback about this session because I have put in a lot of effort today. You can see totally different way I'm teaching today. So do give me your feedback as to how useful the session went in the comment section, please. And do a social work by asking more people to watch by sharing this YouTube link. Done? So 2 out of 10. Overall, this student got 15 out of 25 just because he got 10 out of 10 in the second part. Another item student. Let's see what this item has done. The management style is budget constraint because of the financial targets, and Yes, he got 1 mark for mentioning its budget constraint style because focus was on financial targets and all. Listen, listen, listen. He didn't give definition, he lost 1 easy mark. If he would have written the definition, hello, this is what I say, easy numbers. I'm proving today what easy numbers are. He didn't mention the definition, he lost 1 mark. He would have gained 1 mark if definition was there. And see how important role this 1 mark will play. You will see in a while. Second, this may, because of financial targets, because of budget constraint style, listen, the implication will be that this may be impacting the treatments and the number of patients readmitted will increase. Yeah, this is true. This is true. But not enough to get complete 10 marks. Not enough to get complete 10 marks, so 2 out of 10. Either due to lack of time. This I feel is more due to lack of time. He had the idea, but he cannot express it. Maybe due to lack of time. 2 out of 10. So what when we check box, we have seen lot of times the last question is like is like your stepson. Is like your stepson or a stepbrother or some step relationship. Because we don't have time. So just for the sake of explaining you the importance, if that dumb student would have written the definition, he would have gained 1 more mark to come to 11 out of 25. And he failed in this part. So I think this document today I have nailed it as far as I'm concerned. Because the way it was presented, I'd never started this document the way it was presented. I took a very different way. I shared with you the exam real answer, what I think is, took your opinions, and through a mixture of all these things, we covered this document. Yeah, I also am realizing the same thing, Mushfiq. So this session should give you the clear idea and confidence that yes, it's manageable, man. There is room available. So please do give me your feedbacks. Those who are right now in the session, who is watching the video, and do encourage others, please. Your friends who are appearing for APM, who are in the group, to watch this, because I think what all our live sessions I take, yeah, those are useful, but this is something else. So guys, happy? Okay, so thank you very much for this session, being with me till the end. It was long, yeah, but useful. So I hope this will help you, and best of luck for your exams.